What's up, everyone? It's Gavin or Tweek.
What's up, everyone? It's Marcus or Pink.
What up, what up? It's Charles or Chuck.
What's going on, everyone? It's Matt or Haz. And before we start our episode today, we got a birthday to celebrate. Happy birthday, Gavin!
Hey, happy
Happy birthday, Gavin.
Well, by the time we announce this, it'll be a day late, so it's on the 11th. But happy birthday, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You, Jim?
What's going on, everyone? Actually, a lot of good tournaments this weekend. One domestic to NA, but then a couple of good ones overseas, especially one that I watched the most was the EU tournament Shonen WAR. So maybe we could start there and talk a little Bloom forever. Well,
that's the one I watched the least. My bad. I watched Japan. You know me.
Yeah, you're always watching Japan. Yeah.
I was commentating Dreamhack with EE, and then Rod was also over there doing some hosting stuff. So I mainly just know a bunch of Dreamhack stuff. But I do know that Ramen said Bayo's good, and he told us all. So that means Bayo's good. Right? That's how it works.
Ramen be spitting. He's like, he's like a 70-80%er on his opinions. Not going to hold you.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good because he throws a lot of opinions.
He throws out some wild ones. Crom was not good though, but I mean, for the most part, he does.
He did not beat the Crom allegations.
Did not
breach them.
To be fair, Crom was very good in the beginning of the game until people knew how to play, and then the game caught up with him.
Yeah. And then you compare Little Mac's recovery to Crom's recovery, and it's like,
I'd rather have Little Max, yeah.
Yeah, rather
for
have
real,
Gannon's.
For real.
Definitely have Gannon's. Gannon's is pretty good. You get his ledge hang too?
I'm not taking any of this.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any of
Gavin's like,
quitting.
why am I picking from the bottom of the barrel? Like,
my character's ledge hangs are better than Gannon's anyway. See you.
No, you'd rather have Richter's recovery than Crom's, right?
What?
Sephiroth. So I know Sephiroth probably is, but I don't know.
I thought Ganon had the best one, or is that
Telecom?
Outdated? DLC.
It's very outdated, yeah.
Fighter Pass 2.
He's still up there,
It's Sonix, right?
Sonix is like maybe the best or second best or something crazy.
Yeah, it's up there.
Oh,
Yo,
wow.
if anyone has a chart,
Did not know that.
Oh, actually, that would be awesome.
We
look us up
did
because
this
I
before.
can't find the chart anymore for Ultimate. But yeah, Sonix is like ridiculous. Diddy's is
Sora.
broken. Sephiroth is broke. Sephiroth is even better than Diddy's, and Diddy's is like top 5.
Wow. Yeah, if someone has a chart, put it in the comments. That
Yeah.
would be hype. But speaking
It would be
of
Yes, this is an episode only about ledge hangs in Smash Ultimate, guys.
yeah, this is the ledge hang episode. I know you guys have been waiting for this for a really long time.
Which we also don't know a lot about, apparently.
Yeah.
We're just making
Ridley
shit up.
good. Like I don't know. Like,
Charizard, bad. All of them bad.
Oh yeah.
If Fox can down tilt your ledge hang, bad.
Dude, we did this before. One night we were talking about this, and I was like, "Oh, there has to be a tier list somewhere." I can't find one, or like a video or anything.
I
don't
saw
know
one
why.
like, on social media, but I never found it again.
Someone link me that
And I
chart.
didn't
link
save it.
me that
I should have
list,
saved it.
and
I
I'll
found
make
the
a video on
Smash 4 one. That's
University.
what it was.
Exactly.
Oh, that would be a good Smash U one.
That's how hard it is to find. You go to other games.
all right. Bring it back to this game. We're gonna be talking about Shonen WAR 2. Because there's a couple of key things to talk about, but I think the first and the easiest one is just talking about Bloom forever. 11-1 run, and we were talking about it before the show. I was like, I don't even remember who beat Bloom. It was Andres, which is insane because Ken versus Bayo is really, really bad. And then Marcus goes, yeah. Go ahead, Marcus.
Actually,
yeah. To be fair, Bloom. This is how you know Bloom is very confident that they'll win an event. They do not care about their winner's life. They're just like, all right, I'm gonna just pick whatever character I feel like, and it's fine because I'll still win the event. Like, it's not like Bloom went Bayo the entire set. Bloom went Aegis first, then Rosa, and then Bayo. But like, you only got to lose one game. Like it can happen, even if the matchup's bad.
Yep. Oh well, and that matchup is terrible, but Bayo still dies at like 50, so that's pretty cool. Like that can just and it's Andres who is pretty much solo Ken, so he's played bad matchups a million times with that character. So,
but Bats has to help you versus the Shoutout confirms and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, and the edge guarding is free. Like, there's so much about it.
Right, like it just sounds very much so in her favor. And even the situations where she can die at 50, you could get bats and get out, right? So like I feel like she has an out for every scenario. But I mean, let's talk about Bloom first before we get into the Bayonetta talk, because I know we're going to talk about Bayonetta. We've talked about Bayo a good amount, and I think we've all had our history with Bayo at some point or another. Obviously, we all played Smash 4 and then transitioning into Ultimate. So I know you guys watched that tournament a little bit more. So let's just break down his run, the matchups he had to go through. Obviously, he has a very good set count on Gluto. I know that going into this. I think that matchup's pretty rough for Wario. So I do think Bloom has a lot of favorable matchups going in, like just competing in his own region. But I also think I know like Sisqui is playing Snake as well, right? As of recently. And I know Snake is generally viewed as a pretty good matchup versus Bayonetta. I don't know nowadays though. Bayo players have really been pushing the bad matchups. I think all like character specialists have been pushing the bad matchups really far. So yeah, let's just get a breakdown of his run. I know you probably got the bracket pulled up, right, Hez?
Yeah, I do. So it was starting with like the first name I really recognize is OJ or OG as we would say it, but they say OJ the Falcon. Yep, 2-1 actually. So and that was in best of 3 territory still. Then he had to play against Space, and that was game 5. So this was already like looking pretty rocky at the beginning of his bracket for sure.
Okay.
Then he had to play TSKFC, who I don't recognize, but it was a 3-0. And then that's where he lost to Andres after that 2-3. But like we said, he did go some kind of random characters, but at the end of the day, he still lost the set. Shout out to my man Andres, the GOAT. Andres Fortnite, for real. Then he started his loser's run, got a run back against Andres, 3-0'd, then had to play against Gluto in loser's finals, and he 3-0'd him and also 3-stocked him at one point, which I don't really care how bad a matchup is. 3-stocking Gluto is insane. And then he played against Sisqui in Grands, and in the first set, he was beating Sisqui so bad, Sisqui went Incineroar game 3 after, I think, getting double 2-stocked, or maybe it was 5-stock, but yeah, 6-0'd Sisqui in Grands. Actually, from loser semis, 3-0'd everybody. Andres, Gluto, and Sisqui twice after Sisqui was in Grands. So people are saying, so this is interesting, because even just looking at the breakdown of that bracket run, yes, he did exceptionally well against the top cut of the bracket, but it looked like he ran into some difficulties with like the higher level players, like not the top level of EU, but like close, people who are fighting to get into that spot, like Space and OJ and stuff like that. And Andres, well, Andres is up there too, but they're all really good. But Gluto and Sisqui are kind of in their own tier right now. So as far as that's concerned, is Bloom the king of EU? Where are we at right now? Like, what's the deal here? Because this isn't like the first time we've seen Bloom take a tournament in the EU for sure. It's not even close. So where are we at? Like, what does this all mean? I think is the question that a lot of people are asking.
I can go first. I think I personally still give that crown to Gluto. Gluto just travels a lot more. I think when you look at the perspective of who's the player that gets the best results in EU, I think that is a big factor. But Gluto has so many achievements, like getting tournament wins over Leo when Leo was rank 1. Not easy to do. Not easy to do. Very, very, very few players have been able to achieve such accomplishments. So I don't know. I think Gluto is still up there in my book. I think Gluto is still the best player from Europe, in my opinion. I would love to see Bloom travel more and prove us wrong. You know what I mean? I do think Bloom is incredibly talented. He's bringing in a character that is weirdly making a resurgence back into the meta from multiple representatives. That's the kicker, because there are players that are just so good that they can take mid tiers, high tiers, and run with it right in this game, like SkyJ, for example. But we're seeing multiple Bayonettas, mainly Lima and Bloom, getting into these top 8 of majors. And it's interesting to see. I know we're going to talk about the character later, but yeah, I just can't give that title to Bloom just yet. I need to see a little bit more accomplishments outside of Europe, and then we can kind of talk about that. I do think that plays very well versus Gluto. Being able to 3-stock Gluto is really tough. I do think the matchup is very strong for Bayonetta, but we've seen Gluto win bad matchups for Wario, right? That's nothing new. So
I think too, it's always how it goes, where you need to be the best in, like, that's just player growth, right? Like, you need to be the best in your niche region first, right? For us, it's like your New England or your Texas, whatever it is. Be the best in your state or your region. And then the next is like a higher level up from that, and then best in your country, and then best in, whatever your, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
need to keep growing and building the resume up from there. And Bloom is like, when you study or when you focus on being like the best at a certain level, you focus on some players specifically, right? Like if you wanted to be the best in New England, you'd study the Fox matchup and the Zero Suit matchup or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the top level reps of that region. Combined with that, Gluto's kind of on the opposite end where he's trying to be the best in the world. So his attention is less spread on like one or two matchups and more like focused on beating every single person. So for him to succeed, I think that's why you see some players like Proto has this too, where he has a hard time in his own region. And I think it's because people that are around his level focus really hard on trying to beat him in region all the time. Not that people aren't trying to beat him, when he travels internationally and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't know, there's like some regional pride or something there as well, I think.
I'm glad you mentioned the Proto thing because I was sitting there thinking this the whole time. Like, when Proto travels to America, bro looks like the best player in the world sometimes. It's like, he's just cooking everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, it's lit. Proto might be the best. You never know. Like, before, like last year, he like had a legitimate case, right? Like, he was winning everything he came to in America. And then people would be like, yeah, but he gets smoked in Japan. And I think Gluto's kind of on that. Like, Gluto comes to America, does very, very well. Obviously, they both do pretty well in their own region. But when I think of like Bloom, the closest comparison that comes to my mind is like Shuton, where like they're very, very dominant in region. Like Shuton, well, now like Akola and like Miya's there, so it's a little less dominance. But like there was a point where Shuton was just like kind of winning everything in Japan, but like the results in America weren't as strong as say like Proto. So like if we were going to make this comparison, Shuton would be Bloom and Proto would be like Gluto. So if you were to ask me like which one of those players were better, I would say Proto, right? Like just because of the international accomplishments. And it seems like goals may be different, but it's a little hard to tell with Bloom because Bloom's really young. Like
Yeah.
Bloom is very, very young. So like getting the chance to travel internationally like probably isn't on the table yet. So I think it'll be a little bit before we know. Obviously, we do know that like that's number 1 and 2 in EU, and it's like however you want to spin it, it's how you want to spin it. Like it's really just opinion based, but yeah, I just think that I would personally give it to Gluto, just given the history, the traveling. Like though Bloom hasn't really had the chances, so it's hard to like slight him for that. But I don't know, they're both extremely good. It's hard to tell though.
Definitely. I think Gluto just has the depth of a resume, just a little, and like you said, more opportunities. He's been around longer and all that. It's harder to knock off the person that's king, right? Like you need to prove it many, many times. But I think we all agree that he's coming pretty damn close to getting to that level. He's not there yet though, and we were talking about it before we went live. He did come over. Because we obviously, I think like the end result ultimately from this is we all want to see Bloom come over and play in the U.S. A little bit more, right? I think his last result, at least that we came up with, we could be wrong. Let us know in the comments below. Was that he got 13th at Double Down. And we were looking at that. It's like, yeah, 13th isn't like, it's not winning the tournament, but his only losses were Jackal and Proto, who both got top 8. Jackal got 7th, and Proto won the event. So it's not like he had a bad tournament. He just ran into Proto and Jackal.
And his first time traveling.
He's gotten a lot better since then too, which is crazy because he was already really good, obviously, at that point. But he's clearly gotten a lot better and more consistent. So I want to see him come back. He's one of the biggest storylines I think that we have in Ultimate right now. He's awesome.
Go ahead.
Sorry. The main thing I wanted to say about Bloom is even like if you're watching on YouTube, there's been some gameplay on the screen and whatnot. I feel like there's a certain like factors only a few players have where their demeanor, like body language and like in-game wise, or like Bloom seems so calm on and off the screen when competing, which I think is really dangerous. Like for the people that he's playing against, it makes me think of some of the best players in the world, and I think that has a lot of potential. Basically what I'm saying is, Bloom is like has potential to really shake up Ultimate. Obviously they already are. But yeah, it makes me think of someone like Spargo, where sometimes when I watch Spargo play, or like Light, it's like they aren't actually fighting someone. It's like they're just competing like with themselves and just
Mhm.
they don't care. They've never been hurt before is something we say about Light all the time. And that's what I feel like when watching Bloom. Bloom will do something and it looks like they're aware they're going to get hit for it, but they don't care. And that's scary. That means they're confident and they know what they're
Yes.
doing. And that's what I wanted to get across for Bloom. And I really like that in a player. It just means they're usually a step ahead. If they're willing to take hits or like go random characters in winners bracket, not random, but like not their best characters. It just means that they're ahead. It is what it is. Like that's very interesting to see. And I'm curious to see what happens with Bloom going forward.
Yeah, you definitely compare them to two of the most confident players in the world.
Yes.
So I mean, it's definitely some unshakable confidence on.
Yeah, I can't say for sure if that's actually what's going on, but the gameplay at least has that demeanor to it, which is really interesting because it's rare.
Yeah, yeah. And I think another thing that Bloom, like a lot of other players that aren't necessarily close to the US, a big factor is, dealing with things outside of the game, like the jet lag and stuff.
Yeah.
And we've heard Japanese players talk about it. We've heard European players talk about it. And that is something that's completely out of the game, right? Not even like, oh, wow, the meta is a little bit different here. Players are generally more aggressive in my pools or, in top 64 and yada, yada, yada. So that kind of stuff, you can only get your experience and then go from there and learn from it, right? You can't prepare for, just having long flights and traveling and all that other stuff. So if it will take some time for Bloom to adjust, but I have confidence that he will. And it'll be really fun to see Bloom travel more if we get to see it, and kind of his journey through overcoming all those challenges of living in or coming from Europe, living in Europe, and coming over to the US to try and prove yourself, which, I mean, it kind of sucks that is the current format. It leaves everyone outside of the US at a little bit of a disadvantage, or kind of a lot of a disadvantage, but it's just how it is, right? All the big major tournaments are in the US.
I'm glad you brought that up, Charles, because you know who else was talking about that was Cosmos, because he's over in Japan right now, and he brought up like, damn, I'm so tired of this tournament. It's crazy. I've been traveling and trying new food and like going all over the place, and jet lag's nuts. And it's like, dude, yes, every tournament, and obviously I'm really happy Cosmos brought this up because it's something that we don't get from a US perspective as much, which I think is so fucking important to talk about. When you talk about, oh, Proto's playing at Summit, well, he flew in on Monday and started going to media day the next day. Like there's no, like, it's insane. It's a point that needs to be talked about more, I'd say. So I'm really happy you brought that up, because it is a great advantage to be able to play in the US and be able to play at all these big tournaments here. But the thing I love about Ultimate, and I say it almost every time I'm on commentaries, we really are becoming a global game. EU and Japan have both stepped it up so much in terms of the tournaments that they're hosting and the prestige behind them. Broadcast, all that. We always talk about it. Like every time they host a tournament, it's like the nicest looking thing that's ever existed. So I'm very happy that is starting to shift a little bit, and that there's a good focus on EU hosted and Japan hosted tournaments, because they're really important. They're really awesome.
So
yeah.
Did Sisqui take us off Gluto this weekend? Looks like
must have, yeah, to put Gluto losers
in winners. They must have played in winners finals.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting as well. Two really annoying matchups from a Wario perspective. As a Wario player, I do want to throw that out there. And I actually think it's for similar reasons too. So it's interesting to see because Gluto has played these two multiple times already. And Gluto is also really, really insane at adapting and taking notes and preparing for the next sets. So I'm really curious to see what Gluto does in the future sets, or if I talk to him, like what he has to say about them. We actually were talking about Bayo in Hawaii, and I never really got the chance. I told him I could help him out with it, but I actually never got the chance to do it. He said he took a lot of notes and everything too, but yeah, that really curious because Bloom's record on Gluto is like 4-1 at the moment. And I'm pretty sure Gluto's record on Sisqui is heavily in Gluto's favor, but Sisqui was able to take a set this time, which is really interesting.
And Gluto, talk about it again. He just went
Traveling.
from Hawaii back. Yeah, it's gonna be a factor.
I just got back like a week ago or something from Hawaii, and I would say today, April 11th, as we're recording this, is the first day where I felt back to normal. So I can only imagine how rough it is if I was competing on like previous days.
Yeah. But just like the Andre said, just because Bloom went other characters, it's still a W. You're still an L. You know, the final result doesn't matter, but it is something to think about and consider for like the overall story here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it is what it is. Dope tournament. Congrats to Bloom.
Yeah.
That's all we really got to say about the tournament specifically, unless we want to talk about Bayo a little bit more, because we were before we went live here, and just when we think of it, thoughts on the character today is, you know, obviously beyond meta relevant. There are at least two top level reps. You got a couple other really great Bayos in there, like Frog, running around and doing some great things with the character. Things that hold her back are obviously just her weight, and I think the difficulty to play her at a top level. So I don't know. She's here. She's back. Basically, it's kind of like Ice Climbers, honestly. Like not quite as polarizing or extreme. But I think we all knew deep in our hearts someday that this day would happen, where Bayo's back and Ice Climbers are back, which is crazy. Toxic characters always find a way. It's great.
Ultimate is so fantastic because a lot of the best characters from a lot of Smash games are like either resurfaced already or resurfacing right now.
Yep.
Like Sheik and Diddy are like better than ever. Bayo and Cloud are doing really well. Like Ice Climbers all the way from like, you know, Brawl are doing really well.
Meta Knight's having a little resurgence, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Meta Knight would be next. If Meta Knight isn't quite deserving of like compared to everyone else, but it's possible if it's piloted by Leo.
Snake
coming back.
Snake is really, it's like a combination of like all these metas from other games into one game, plus some new stuff. And that's just super cool to like, I feel like I've never really put it into perspective until this conversation. Even like PT, like a character that got reimagined and then came back into Ultimate and has had a lot of success. Like it's just really cool.
It's somehow perfect for Ultimate that's the case, right?
Yeah,
like it's like the perfect, It's somehow
like the vision of why the game
was
was created in the first place, casually, and then it's like reimagined into like our competitive view.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I mean, it speaks to the balance of the game. We talk about it as why it's such a hard fucking game. Like Sakurai put it in the trailer himself. He said, try to master all these whatever matchups. You know, well, realistically, you just need one for your characters, maybe two, depending on two characters. But point is that people are learning that. I think that's really what's starting to separate so many people to where the skill gaps come in, are these small things in matchups. Even if it's a common matchup, if you know it and your opponent doesn't, it's just an easy way to get a leg up. And it's like at this point, it's such niche or like small amounts of knowledge that can separate you from a win or a loss, right? It's the game is getting insane. I don't know if you guys have watched old Ultimate at all. Sometimes I do, just like it pops up in my YouTube feed. I'm like, sure, I'll watch the first Let's Make Moves. Why not? That sounds funny. And it looks like a completely different game, which is really cool.
Everyone was like getting their feet wet, figuring everything out.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to mention with all the characters is you can tell which game they're from. And it's so cool how they're still all like competitive, relevant. Like by their character design, I feel like it's like, oh, that's clearly a Brawl character. Or, oh, this character is clearly new from Ultimate because they're like have so many unique things. Like it's so cool. Like that's one of my favorite things about Ultimate is like when you look at Donkey Kong or Kirby, they're very clearly from the oldest possible Smash title just by moveset, like inspiration. Like it's very simple. And then if you look at like the Brawl newcomers feel so unique to themselves, like Wario and Snake, like
Sonic.
They're my personal
favorite
favorite newcomers to any Smash game.
They're a great group, man.
Diddy, like even Pit's pretty cool. Like I don't know. That's the coolest thing about Smash Ultimate is how they all feel like they're from different games, yet they're all like really strong competitively.
Oh, it's funny because we were talking about that, and I think the most extreme other side of that is the DLC fighter pass characters all feel, especially 2, feel some sort of way. Except for Sephiroth, he feels like a Brawl minus character. So he feels like, you said he feels like a Brawl character. I was like, holy shit, like that's crazy because he kind of does. Like
not Brawl minus, it's
Not
Brawl.
Brawl minus.
Sorry, not Brawl minus.
Yeah, I was
Brawl,
like,
regular
I
Brawl.
was gonna
Brawl
say
minus. I wish, bro. That would be
Is
so
this
sick.
some sort of bit to convince me he's like the best character or something?
I meant Brawl. I don't know why I said Brawl minus. Brawl regular. Brawl
But
regular.
yeah,
Vanilla
a lot of
Brawl. He
people
feels
say
like a
vanilla
vanilla Brawl
Brawl.
character.
Smash
You-
4, but I took it like a step further. I was like, honestly, it feels more like Brawl. He feels like Brawl Ike or something sometimes.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
amount of end lag you have on your moves and stuff like feels like Brawl.
Not as bad as Brawl Ike, by the way. Y'all should try Brawl Ike sometime. That character.
Well, his jab went insane.
You got to jab. You got to jab and grab.
Frank jab. And you could crouch cancel the jab and like
Yeah.
1 2 1 2 1 2.
Or if you anti-aired, he would just do it himself. It was cool.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Cloud had that with the aerial opponents in Smash 4.
His jab.
It would do 1 2 1 2. Yep.
It's pretty cool. Was he built on? Wasn't he?
I got a
built on
clip
Ike?
with it on the Smash
Kind
4
of, yeah.
platform into a spike.
Nice.
Fun
yeah.
fact.
I think
Ike had the make the pizza up air too. Remember that?
Oh,
Making the
that-
pizza, the
It
helicopter.
was terrible in Brawl, slightly better frame data in Smash 4, and then they just gave him a new move in Ultimate.
yeah.
We give up. Yeah. 10 years later, we've decided to gut this.
That was a
hit-
really good up air.
That hitbox
Yeah.
went into the Z axis, I think. It was really bad.
It was
like
really
your
strange.
your
It was
hitbox
so
disappeared.
cool, though.
It
was
looked
cool.
cool. Well, kinda.
Now Byleth has it like times 1,000.
Yeah.
The tornado up air, you know?
Well, they just I think side by side they looked at it, Ike's up air in Smash 4 and then Cloud's up air in Smash 4, and they were like, we need to rework
made
a
a
couple
mistake.
things there. Yeah. Because they're they're kind of similar archetype, like big sword guys or whatever. So
Yeah.
either
That's
way.
why it's cool that jab thing like went across the two of them, because like I always felt like they had similar energy when they fight in Smash. So
Whenever you played a modded Brawl setup, he was always Cloud or Sephiroth or
Yeah.
Guts, like those were who's the guy from, I know, I was doing so good with my anime references, now I don't know. Who's the guy from,
Kakashi? No, that was Snake.
who's the
yes,
blonde hair?
Kakashi Snake went stupid.
Yeah,
No,
Kakashi
I'm thinking, damn it. Is it
Are you talking
Bleach?
about Ichigo?
Who's Bleach? Yeah, Ichigo.
Ichigo?
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was about to say,
Blonde hair. It's
Does
all
he not have
good.
blonde hair?
It's all good.
It's orange, but
It's orange, but it's all good.
Oh, no.
you're upsetting us, Has. We have to move
I'm
on.
sorry. I'm sorry. We can move it. Yeah,
You're
my bad.
upsetting me. What the heck? I'm upsetting you. I'm trying my best.
Blonde.
I'm sorry.
I went to
Man.
Google him and I found a bored ape Ichigo. So awesome. Life is good. I'll link it in the podcast chat.
But yeah, I think Bayo in general creeping back up is interesting because obviously everyone thought the character was pretty bad, right? But oh my god,
Sorry, the bored ape Ichigos. Goes kind
But-
of hard, honestly.
but she got some buffs, right? There it is.
Don't show it on the screen.
Oh no, there it is.
We're
If you-
gonna
if
need
you-
a blooper reel for this month for sure. Damn.
If you're on YouTube, you get to see
Should we
That's
it.
transition
hilarious.
to Dreamhack?
Oh, we can, yeah.
Let's
we
just
can.
get off of the bored apes.
Yeah.
Please.
Gavin doesn't want to talk about Bayo. Abort.
We can.
Yeah, I
That's
think
what
we
did.
I think we said just about everything we need to. She's fucking good. She's hard for sure. She's hard. She's a threat. Like if you're gonna try to win a major, that's
You-
got to be
you
a
need
realistic. That's got to be a realistic preparation in your mind.
Oh,
for sure.
real quick sidebar. One of my favorite things to watch is someone getting shit on by Bayo because they don't know how to SDI because they didn't play Smash 4. I love
Dude,
that.
it's like everyone trying to play against Snake for the first time when they never played Brawl. They were like,
That
"What the fuck?" They
shit
just run
is
into
so
4 grenades
funny.
and get seed 4. Yeah, that was great. That was so fun.
Shit is
You're right
hilarious.
though.
It all happens.
It still
It does
happens,
still
yeah.
happen. Yeah. Well, it is what it
All
is.
right. Well, on to Dreamhack. So
All right. Tell us about your time, Chuck.
it was fun. I had a good time. Dreamhack is a unique event because there's just a bunch of different esports, a bunch of different games. So I got to walk around, check out. They had Rocket League was like the main staged event there. So Rocket League was pretty cool to check out. I saw like StarCraft. There's a bunch of different fighting games there as well.
They had StarCraft?
Yeah.
They do PC games there too, right? Like all
Yep.
the
A
time.
lot of PC games. Yeah.
Damn. That's
They
so
had a
hype.
bunch of shooting games too. So It was really fun. And then Rod, shouts to Rod, he was hosting the Pyramid, which was like a King of the Hill style thing. Oh my goodness.
Dude,
the highlight of the
Tearbear.
event. The highlight of the event, okay,
Tearbear.
is Tearbear lining up on the final day, I think it was. Yeah, the final day. And there's a like 3.5 hour King of the Hill for Smash at this Pyramid, right? And Tearbear goes up there and is like the 6th person in line. This dude was timing people out with Banjo-Kazooie for 3.5 hours. And
so he never lost?
he didn't lose the entire time. And
That
to
is lit.
optimize, and if you want to optimize that scenario, right, because you want to stay on the hill as long as possible. If you're playing a bad player, you will time them out. You won't actually kill them. You will.
Tearbear has been doing this since Brawl.
That is so funny.
Yeah, and he was doing it with Banjo and Kazooie. Like, that shit is so funny. And the interview after was hilarious because Rod was asking him, like, so why do you play Banjo? He's like, Banjo's like a kind of like a retirement character. Like, I don't really want to play the game like
Oh my
that
God.
seriously. Like, I used to be a pro in, Brawl and Smash 4, but yeah, I just like Banjo and Kazooie. It's like a retirement character. Just no one, if people don't know the matchup, like,
That
it's
is
a free
so
W.
amazing.
And he won $1,000 for staying on the hill for the entire time.
3 hours of work, camping people out.
3.5.
3 hours, 3.5.
3.5. I
Jeez,
respect
bro.
that shit. I respect the fuck out of that.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's the picture. He was
That-
making $285 an hour, so that's pretty good.
That was probably
That's
my
really
favorite
good.
thing about the whole weekend was
Pretty good.
seeing Tearbear time people out with Banjo and Kazooie. It was just hilarious. And I've known Terry since like Smash 4, so, and I obviously watched him in Brawl and stuff too. So that was a good time. That was a good time. But the actual bracket, Larry got top 3. So shout out to Larry Lurr.
Larry!
So that was really cool seeing the return of Larry. He hasn't competed for about 4 months.
Did you see his YouTube thumbnail today? He said I threw
He
a
threw for content.
tournament for content. Hilarious.
That's why he
Also-
got reverse 3-0'd by Kurama.
Did he use Fox at
No,
all?
No fault.
He said he would, but he didn't.
He
It was a
lied to all
Falco
of
Bracco,
us.
to be fair.
Liar.
Yeah, I think his Fox would be so good.
Play Fox.
Fox is very strong and honestly a pretty simple character. So I think those are all right up his alley. Like it's hard it's fast. The execution's fast, but the strategies are simple for Fox.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion. You just want to set up platform
Just
tech
play
pieces, getting your
Fox and
damage off.
Falco. That would be lit. Drop
Yeah,
Wolf.
Fox-
That
Damn,
character
no
is
more
trash.
Wolf.
He's
It's his
not
most
good.
Some people
experienced
drop
character.
Wolf.
It's
Wolf
his
has
most
never been good.
He needs to
Okay.
drop Falco. Wait.
I'm just kidding right now, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, buddy.
He's
Falco?
still good.
You know what's interesting? He
Get back here.
likes to go Falco because he feels like a lot of people suck against Falco. It's not because Falco.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think Falco is pretty mid.
As one of those
Agreed.
people, I agree with that.
I think Falco is just people are just not that great versus Falco.
Yeah. And then if
Falco-
you're not, you get punished really hard. So
Yep.
the return of someone not knowing the matchup is like, oh yes.
Stick with me, Marcus. He reminds me of Ken in a way, where if people try to outmash you, you're gonna fucking die or eat 80 all the time because his mash is really, really good. So you actually have to play against him. Like you can't try to like just outmash him. And allow
Damn
him
it!
do
I have
that.
to think. Shit.
After,
I
yeah.
It's
What?
the best when people try to outmash Ken. I'm like, sweet. Sounds all right. Sounds good. I got a frame 2 down tilt.
All right, sick. Let's
Shout out
match.
to Big Boss winning the tournament.
Dude,
Big boss,
he was
dude.
playing so
Rob.
so well.
Over
He beat
Kurama.
Kurama and Larry's Falco, which those
Beat
are
Kurama
two
twice.
very, very bad matchups for Rob, especially Kurama. Yeah. And then he won MSM last night as well, since we're recording on Tuesday. He
Riding the
won
momentum. Nice.
MSM 0. Yep. Just keeping it going.
Dude.
And Big Boss has always been good, but damn, this was definitely outperformed his seed for sure. Like this is really, really, this is an impressive run for
I think
sure.
he was showing signs of improvement at Let's Make Big Moves as well, because didn't he take
I
a set off
remember
of Sonix
He did.
Remember that, yeah.
and Zomba? Like I feel like there was a sign of a breakthrough. So this
Dude.
lines up. Congratulations on winning the event.
He I don't know, like his decisions were just like there were times he would be recovering against Kurama, and Charles pointed this out on commentary where he would just do like up B double jump empty land, and he would land like
Oh,
like
bro.
right at the edge, like immediately. It was like perfect. Like his like spacing
Wow.
for landing, like on the edge was perfect. And Kurama would still be shielding. Like he's like expecting like forward air and
Wasn't me,
air.
yeah.
Yeah, and then he would just get grabbed back thrown. And I was like, dude, like you're reversing the situation, and now like you're like making Kurama think about how we're gonna like recover now. It's not just as easy as like dash attack him going for up B or like, you know, trying to snap the ledge or like I'm just gonna hold shield if he goes past the ledge. It's like, oh snap, like there's some legitimate mix here. And like he was landing like a lot of gyros, a lot of lasers off stage against Mario. Like it's like his callouts were insane. Like you're not gonna cape this, or like he would like time it for right after Kurama would throw a fireball if he was like shooting high. The neutrals
Yeah.
played like really solidly for the most part. I mean, I was sitting there, I was so impressed. I was like, this is insane.
I
That's
did.
an important habit to call out versus Mario. Sorry to go off on a tangent a little bit, but those like double jump fireballs out of disadvantage.
Mhm.
If you can catch that and like hit Mario and the fireball at the same time or something, he's dead off stage.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like
Yeah.
one of those greedy things where if it works for Mario, great, and if it doesn't, he could die. So letting a Mario know, like, hey, go to the ledge, or you're gonna lose your stock. That's a big deal.
Yeah, once Gavin pointed out that he had a good run at Let's Make Big Moves. Like, so he got top 8 at Let's Make Big Moves, so that was a good run. He only lost to Spargo and Light. Genesis 9, right? He got 33rd at Genesis 9. He lost to you and Mars back to back. Tweek and Mars back to back. Okay, I guess that's fine. Like, no big deal there. Collision, he got 17th. He lost to Spargo and MVD. MVD was won that tournament too. He was playing very, very well. So like you said, it's not like he's losing to anyone that isn't really good. Like this is just happening, and it seems like everything kind of just strung together for him. And he got wins on a lot of good talent on the way up too. Peckham, Dark Wizzy, Kurama, Larry, and Kurama back to back to close out the tournament. And all of those were 3-1, except for Peckham, which was 3-0. But yeah, I mean, Dark Wizzy 3-1, Kurama 3-1, Larry 3-1, Kurama 3-1, which not even going to a game, didn't even see a game 5, honestly.
Yeah, congrats.
Amazing.
Kurama too is like such a. I always talk about players that are really cementing themselves as household names in like top 8s and just doing really well. Kurama, like, always there, like,
Yeah.
always getting good wins, always on the big stage, like as of the last like year or so, like so consistent. It's ridiculous.
I know. Dude, since he got signed though, I gotta see him take home the big W. I'm just waiting for him, man.
He's right there. He'll get it.
I know,
He'll
dude.
get
I want him to do it so bad.
Last time we were talking
so
about a player inevitably winning, it was like Spargo, and Spargo
Yeah.
definitely got
Be
some
winning.
dubs.
He's won a couple tournaments, yeah.
Was it Spargo or was it Riddles? It was Riddles, and then it happened.
That's another one too.
And
yeah.
then and now our current one is Sonix. We're
that's
still
another,
waiting on
like-
the Sonix dub.
Like when Sonix wins a tournament, I'm not going to be like, what
Yeah,
the heck? Like, no, it's
Yeah,
going to be like,
right.
yeah,
No way.
it's going to
Good
happen.
job. Yeah,
It
congrats.
could be
Goddamn
any
time.
tournament too. It could just be any tournament.
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
literally.
definitely. Absolutely.
SmashCon. Hey, 2,000 entrants. Sonix
Dude,
dub. Like,
It could be.
I can't wait for SmashCon. It's gonna be
Smash
great.
Con is going to be crazy. Do you guys think Kurama can get a super major win with solo Mario though? I think that's the big question
Yes.
because getting through Steve sounds very hard as Mario.
Who cares? He's banned. See ya.
Oh.
You can win a major in the U.S. easily.
Well, like, I guess to frame it, like, I would put a few characters and a few players on the above in priority of like a super major. But yeah, sure, why not? It's not like the most likely thing ever, but Kurama is getting there. So,
yeah.
Mhm.
like we were just talking about Sonix. Like Sonix is one of the first players that come to mind for someone that hasn't done it yet. But Kurama is on that list, so
Yeah, and you
We'll
guys
see.
think you can do it with
And-
solo Mario?
Well,
Okay.
so right,
Yeah.
yeah, he's gotten close.
Oh,
I mean,
definitely.
he had to play What did he have to play Gavin in Grand Set?
poor
Poor-
priority.
Poor priority?
And he got third at Ludwig's too, which is really good. And Akola and MK Lair are the only people that
Yeah,
beat him.
he's-
Like, yeah, he's
If we're talking super major though, like a lot of these tournaments aren't super majors.
Yeah,
so.
if you're talking
That's
like
a good
That's
a
why I
Gen-
asked the question.
You mean a
Yes.
like a Genesis, like a
Correct.
Smash
we caught
Con?
up, Chuck.
Yes,
Like,
that
that's
is what
tough.
I meant.
I'm
When
not
I
gonna
put the
say
word
no, because
super
why
in
would I
front of
say no
major,
ever?
that's what I mean. Yes.
Yes,
Like-
I still think he can. It might require a little bit of bracket luck for his character, but nothing crazy. And Mario, he's got that X factor that you want in a character. He could just kill you. Like he can
And
just
the
kill you.
stage
Yeah.
list
There's
is
a different X
really
factor
good.
that's more important. A movie.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
We actually haven't talked about it yet. Yeah, I actually want to talk about it.
We're hopefully
cares?
Alex
Wait,
isn't,
wait, huh?
hopefully Alex isn't editing
Does
this.
your
is-
character
this
have
is
a movie?
spoiler
Oh
central.
wait,
Yes.
Sonix has a movie too.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Dude, what if they
your character
play
has
in
a
Grands?
movie-
That would be so funny.
This
The
is so
face off of
stupid.
the movies.
This is so stupid. This is the worst episode.
Well,
we've
Sonic
ever
has two
done.
movies right now, so I guess Sonic would win. Right?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
true.
why. Yeah.
Oh, he does.
True.
Oh, yeah, he already does have two movies.
Yeah.
There are Street Fighter movies out there. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Smash
no.
Universe is
Those
coming
movies
together.
suck.
The quality of the movie.
Hey, they still exist.
Just
It's
like the
about
characters.
quality.
Hey, hold on a second. Ashimo's going Ken.
That's true. Oh, we didn't talk about Kowloon.
Yeah, we should.
got
we
it
can
a little
wrap
bit,
It, wrap
yeah.
it up.
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
Gavin
Wrap it
over
up with that.
Ash-
It was.
Shuton one. You watched most of it, Marcus. I didn't watch a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
it.
It was
Alright.
like this weird thing where I was just like awake and I saw like Cosmo's tweet about it and I was like, oh snap, this
Was
is happening.
Cosmos there?
Yeah.
He's
So
in
when
Japan
I
now, yeah.
started watching, winner side top 8 was already decided and losers was like the round before. And winner side top 8 was like Miya versus Shirayuki, the Inkling. And then Cosmos versus Ashimo. And it was really funny because Cosmos was talking to me. He was like, yeah, man, Shirayuki says like Inkling's like top 30, top 35. Like they're not that good, but we make it work. I was like, what the heck? Like that's so funny. That's so funny. But he was in winner semis. He did very well against Miya. Miya pulled out Steve actually after like bringing back a pretty solid game as Game Watch, which is really, really interesting. Cosmos did very well. Got some good wins. Winner side top 8 after traveling. It's pretty impressive. His set versus Ashimo is really strange. But it is what it is. Ashimo's very, very good. Losers was like super weird because Shuton lost like really pretty early and just like made this like insane losers run. Like all of our ages like doing the Shuton thing. Kind of like Bloom, actually, which is really funny because we made that comparison, but actually like they both like lost like early-ish and then had like a pretty good like losers run. So that was super, super cool to see. Mia's like cemented himself as like top 3 in Japan, maybe 2. Obviously I'll call this number 1.
It's been very consistent.
Yeah, very, very
for a
consistent.
while.
Picking up Steve, which is scary because then we're a Game & Watch Steve player, and it's like, bro, like how do you
Steve ain't getting banned in Japan. What's up?
how do you counter
it
that,
do?
man?
What it do?
It's just like it's so funny because a lot of times like I'm like sitting there and I don't realize the Japan major is happening. And then like one person tweets about it and like spreads like wildfire and everybody in America's like, bro, Japan major's
Yeah.
happening. So that was like super cool to just be
It's like a
oh,
surprise
snap.
little treat.
Yeah. I didn't watch like the end of it because it was like 5 a.m. and I was like, bro.
Right.
I was like talking to Cosmos. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm not gonna make it. Like, my bad. Good luck.
Good luck.
good luck. It was like right after he lost to Ashimo. I was like, I can't make it anymore. But it was a good tournament to watch. Definitely go back and check that out. Congrats to Shuton making the run. Miya for being super consistent. Ashimo being super consistent. I know Haz was a little happy for some reason.
That's my guy. He was my guy anyway, though. I love Ashimo, but now he's going Ken too, which is really interesting because so many people are like Ryu's flat out better. Like Ken doesn't even do better in some matchups, but he definitely does. And I think it's underrated how much pressure in terms of a tournament, what the pressure that Ken can put out in terms of just killing characters raw at 60. Like he's fast, he can break your shield. Like I'd say more of a matchup check than Ryu is too. Like if you don't know a lot of the specifics against Ken, you can just lose stocks, which are huge when you're playing in a tournament. So I think like Chuck's favorite term, on paper Ryu's better, but Ken is scary as fuck, man. Like he just kills you. He just runs you down. And if you're not ready for it, and if you switch between the two, you get a little bit of a tempo mix up in there and get some different stages going. As a
That's
wise
cool.
man once said, it's
I'll
too
give it
lit.
up.
Yeah, it's great.
Ashima was one of the most fun players to watch.
Oh yeah, that's my
And
guy.
I hate Ryu and Ken. Hate.
Well-
But Ashimo has the X factor.
The it.
The it
X
factor,
factor,
yeah.
He's got it.
You don't give that out for free, but he has it.
Nope.
Another thing that's really weird too when I think about on paper stuff, the game is just it's so weird because I feel like in previous Smash games you could look at a lot of matchups on paper and that's how it would pan out because the tools and the moves and the characters were so much more overwhelming than the rest of the cast. You know what I mean? But even when I look at Ultimate, I see characters like Steve or Kazuya that are just like obviously overtuned, right? Like these tools are just ridiculously overtuned, but players are still finding ways around it. And even for bad matchups and all that other stuff, and seeing so many characters have so much success. I mean, we always talk about this, but like this is the most balanced Smash game by far.
Yeah.
It's just like not even close because just the amount of characters that we're seeing have tournament success is just wild to me. So just I guess just a quick sidebar on paper stuff, but it is very hard to talk about things on paper in this game because there's so much more mix up. Everything is more universalized and like jump squad and stuff like that. So you see a lot of players just really making it work. They it seems like even in a lot of characters' bad matchups, there's some type of win con to break through.
Yeah, in the older games, there was like Ganon Ice Climbers, there was no win con. People would be like, in Brawl, people would be like, yeah, but if you kill the first Ice Climber, bro, the Sopo had a walking down throw chain grab that took him to like 500%. Like, you just lose. Like, there was no like, hey, you might be able to make this work. There was no work. You just lost. Like, if you pick that matchup and they knew how to press shield, grab, hey, pack it up. But in this game, like, you know, Ganon can actually separate the Ice Climbers, and like the Nair is kind of crazy, and you might
that move is
smash
crazy.
them like with the arcing move, one of the arcing moves, and kill them at 40. Like, you know, like there's some winning to be done. Now, I'm not gonna say Ganon can win every matchup, but he can get it done. Just like Little Mac, we see Little Mac. Peanut. We see Dr. Mario
laddering people on Battlefield in this game.
Yeah, like we see
man.
characters like they have like
Dr. Mario has success in Japan for some
a lot of it.
A lot of success in Japan. Yeah,
character.
Yep.
I'm picking up Doc.
It's time.
It's
time
it's
for
probably
the Doc.
because like you said, everything's so normalized, but also like everyone does so much damage in this game, man. Like like you like make a mistake. It's like mistakes feel so much more punishing in this game than like every game that's not melee. So like you just get hit for 80% by every character into this weird situation that you probably aren't ready for because there's 10 million characters in the game and you haven't experienced this one matchup, and then that happens a couple times. GG's 2-1, 2-0. See you.
Yeah, damage output is something that also has got feels more universal, right? Whereas in Brawl, you were lucky if you had a throw into a hit, bro. You were lucky. That was a privilege to have a combo that did 40%, or even in Smash 4.
I don't think that was even in the game.
If you weren't chain grabbing, like
in Brawl it was weird. I don't know if it was like a mistaken code or something, but you could actually cancel hit stun with air dodging, which was like why. But that's why Brawl felt very like neutral based, is because you could cancel hit stun with air dodge, which is like what. Smash 4 we got more like, oh wow, look at this 40-50% string. I remember playing the demo and being like, I spam up tilt Mario till 50, like this is crazy.
Yep, down throw up tilt was the GOAT on the demo.
the GOAT,
so good.
The goated combo for
I guess that about wraps it up for today. One thing I wanted to mention is we're going to be doing a couple Patreon things this month that we're probably going to be doing sooner rather than later. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested. Shoutouts to Bloom, BigBoss, and Shuton for winning the big tournaments this weekend. And yeah, anything else y'all want to say before we wrap it up?
Shoutouts to you being 25.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah, happy birthday. Let's go.
Woo!
The big 2-5. I wish I had one of the things.
Next year, Chuck.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
See you.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.